big thing with with agents is helping them get clear on what their goals are. What is it that you're wanting? And it comes down to how much money do you want to make? And, you educate them a little bit on, okay, let's look at kind of a modified profit first model to where we got to set aside, profit and taxes. Hey, this is how much money you're going to net after you close a transaction. So, you're going to have to do this many deals in order for you to make that amount of income on a monthly average, right? For the year that you're wanting to make. And then you just reverse engineer it down, right? You go, okay, well, if you need to make that, then how many, deals do you need to get under contract? How many deals, do you need people that agree to work with you? How many people will, show from an appointment set that you've got to have, conversations, and then you got to make, connect and then have conversations and really just reverse engineer it down. And it's like, okay, are you willing to do that? It's going to take you need to have, you need to have 2 new conversations a day, 5 days a week.
So each agent will have its own agreement pretty much.
100% based upon what it is they're wanting to accomplish.
So what's a broad standard for a team then? Of course, they have to show up to content day, shit like that. That's a standard.
Yeah, I think it comes down really just helping them, drive the behavior that's needed in order for them to achieve the goals that they're wanting to achieve. And this is really where you get to lead them. And, if they're falling off, then you get to come back and remind them, how you do anything is how you do everything. And, Bo's the perfect example of that. Look at the standard that he's enforced inside of the restaurant and how that carries over into the rest of their life. So if you're allowing them to be, sloppy, lazy, around you and your environment, then, that's how they're being in the rest of their lives. So, do you want to have you can, it's not going to change the other way in. You can change in and out. Right. So like you're going to bring somebody in that has this and they come in and they're willing to commit to the culture and the change and the sacrifices and who they have to become. And that'll carry over outside. It's not going to be vice versa. They're not going to change on the outside and then come into your organization. You have to change them here so they can change out there. And the biggest thing, and this goes back to, what Garrett talks about, the king eats first. And what he's saying is that, are you showing up as the leader that you're responsible to be in order to lead the people within your organization? And, are you modeling that behavior? That's what he means by the king eats first. And so it's just a reminder that you got to be like, damn, am I showing up and modeling that behavior? And so like, I can jump in and I can look at something, I can get frustrated, but it's like, okay, am I showing up and am I doing that thing? And, I had a good conversation with Don Yoakum at Shareholders. And we had just talked about, on the agent attraction side of things. And he's like, cause he's always on me. He's like, dude, you have to make agent, cause my agent it's not growing. It just hasn't grown. Cause I'm haven't made a call to an agent to talk about any type of opportunity. And he's like, he's always on me. He's like, man, you got to make calls. You got to make some calls. You got to talk to people. And so it's just that kind of reminder. And I mean, you're doing the work. You just got to bring people in and hold them to do the work as well. And then just, make it clear for them. It's like, hey, you came in here and you told me you wanted to accomplish these things. These was your goals. This is your dreams. This is your vision. This is what you want to do. You want to provide for your family. Yet you're coming in late. You ain't staying very long. You're only making 3 or 4 calls. Like, is that what the model you want for your family? Like, I forget, I think, I don't know who said this. One of the guys have said this, but it's like, you wake up in the morning and send your kids off to school and like, hey, be half-assed today, be mediocre today, don't be your best. Right. And then Coach Bird also talks about the same thing. He's like, talking about when the parents would bring their kids to coach to be like, hey, my daughter has so much potential. We just want you to pull it all out of her. We think, she can be great. And coach would go, and so are you living to your potential?
Turns it back on them. Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, we didn't come here for this. We want you to help our daughter." And he's like, "Well, they're with you in your home most of the time. And so are you modeling that behavior? You want them to reach your potential, but have you reached yours? Or are you even trying to reach your potential?"
Love it. Love it. Well, y'all take it away. I'm not gonna hog it.
Renee, how was the trip home?
The trip was fine. I had no delays, no nothing. I mean, on the way there and back, I almost don't want to say that out loud because I have to come see you next week, and I feel like I'm just tempting fate.
It's just gonna be hot here. That's all I can tell you. It was up over 100 a while ago.
Ew.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
90.
But I am.
Wait, sorry. It's 98. That's not right. Yeah, it's 98. Feels like 102 right now. Let's see. You guys come in Wednesday. 92 on Wednesday. 97 on Thursday. 98 on Friday. It'll be hot.
Hot.
I'm just tired of hearing people coming down with COVID again. I'm over it. I just came out. I just got a call from one of my teammates or team members that just got diagnosed with COVID. He's got a listing appointment tomorrow night, a listing appointment Monday. He can't go to either one of them. He's like, "Renee, can you pinch hit for me?" I'm like, it needs to happen, but just added some work to my schedule.
Just a lot of travel. There's a lot of people out. I mean, there's just a lot of people out and about.
Yeah.
Yep. Hit them vitamins. Hit that vitamin C.
Is vodka a vitamin?
Definitely doesn't hurt.
No known pathogen can live in alcohol, right? So I do have a question. It's the same thing I'm always dealing with. It's, the juggling of all the things. Just like you, I feel like I'm adding people to the organization, but as fast as I'm adding them, there's other fallout. So the number doesn't ever grow. We bring new people in, but then people fall out. And then with the market, you've got some scarcity mindset out there. So we're trying to, change that to abundance. And yet it's taken a lot of work to hold deals together right now. A lot of work, freaking short appraisals left and right, all that good stuff. So I'm struggling big time with how to keep the production momentum going, have everybody in the right mindset, getting everybody moving forward, still doing things to talk to people and grow my organization. I feel worse now about it than I did 6 months about it. And I was bitching about it then. So I obviously there's some leverage that I don't have in my world, or I know I just need more people, but I'm having a really hard time focusing on what needs the attention. I feel like I'm putting out fires and I'm not being proactive.
Yeah. So Don shared, he's always full of wisdom. Don, team lead, he opened, I forget, over a dozen market centers, maybe close to 15 market centers in his KW career.
Holy shit.
And he's super, super smart. And he has this kind of analogy, and he only, on the agent attraction side of things, he only focuses on icon producing agents and above. And so he said, we need to think about it this way. He said that we all know the story of, three little pigs and big bad wolf. And, the first is, the house of straw. And he said, those are your new agents or your agents that do 5 to 6 deals a year max. He said, they're essentially building a business in a house of straw. Then you've got your, doing 1 deal a month agents, 12 to 15 transactions max. They're building a house of wood. Those are your capping agents. But your icon producing agents, your team leads, your team production people, your brokers, those people are building the house out of brick. And Freeman and I talked about today that it's not only that, but it goes back to, and I always where I understood the verse was our company when I left California, and it was OTR construction, on the rock construction, logo rock, whatever on the rock. Those guys, it was false advertising. Like, definitely was not based upon the verse, which is a verse in Matthews that talks about, you build your house on sand or you build it on a solid foundation. And so I really believe those agents that aren't committed to getting better and really understanding the fundamentals and understanding the skills that it takes to not only survive but thrive in any market condition they're building on a sandy foundation out of straw or out of wood. They've got to find a solid foundation and lay that brick every day. And that's also goes back to protecting their mindset every day. That goes back to focusing on the skill sets and capabilities. That goes back to what's within their control. That's staying disciplined. That's staying consistent on a daily basis. And so really thinking about, as you're looking to continue to grow, are you connecting and having conversations with icon producing agents or agents that have the capability, desire, willing to put in the work to become an icon agent? And so it was just a great eye opener because everybody knows that story. So it's easy to say, are you building a house of straw, or are you building a house out of wood, or are you committed to build a house, out of brick on a solid foundation, and really being intentional and disciplined with that, or not, because the big bad wolf is coming, and it's just you choose what house you want to live in. And so that was just a great eye opener. When he said that, it really clicked, and really coming back to, hey, and having that tough conversation. So back to what T was talking about is like, how do you hold them to that? And you got to make a decision. Do you want to jack with somebody that's building a house out of straw, or do you, maybe if they're building a house out of wood, but they have a desire to put some brick around it, are you willing to commit to that? And I'm always reminded of what Clayton Mask used to say, B players are who you spend time with instead of your family. And so we're looking for A players, right? A players are people that are, committed, people that can get the job done 90% of the time in the given scale and pay range and circumstance that they're in. So if they're committed to doing 2 deals a month, can they get that done 90% of the time? That's who you're looking for. Because A players, and it goes back to your values, right? Why you're always leaning in on, hey, like we figure shit out. I had my call with Andrew today, Franklin, and they just had their EOS for this next quarter Tuesday. I'll tell you, being on the road for 10 days, and Fred can attest to this, like, you lose track of days. And so, like, I don't even know what day it is. And so I was talking with Andrew, and he fought to add another core value to their organization, right? Think about that. Like, can you get to a certain point off of not having core values that you live and die by? Yeah, but you ain't gonna get to the next level. And so it's really cool to hear him say that. Like, he fought, he gave in because he wanted to, what was he going to call it? Here's what he wanted to call it, but his leadership team pushed back on him a little bit. He wanted to call it "own your shit." Own your shit as one of the values, and they're like, so they settled on extreme ownership. And he's like, I didn't want it to be it that way, but I got my point across of what we have to do. We have to own our shit. And so it was really cool to hear him say that. And yeah, they're neck and neck. They're number two usually in the Houston market for active listings and pending listings. They're behind Lance Loken, usually by a large scale. And he said, we're neck and neck with Loken. And he's like he goes, they've added 1, 2, 3. They've added 3 $100K plus salaries to their executive team this year.
Wow.
And they're at break even. And he goes, my plan was to be at and of course, him and his sister own the company, and they'll each make about $500,000 this year, and the company will be at break even. And he's like, my whole goal was to break even and be at that point. And what he was saying is, he's like, Lance, if we're neck and neck with them, he goes, I know their overhead's higher than ours. How are they making any money? And, Andrew's a numbers guy. So like, he knows the numbers backwards and forwards. So it was just interesting, to kind of see what's going on out there. But I guess to answer your question, you got to understand, be real intentional on the person coming in, and it's the same thing, too, Renee. It's like, hey, you got to own it. You got to want to step in here. You've got to put in the work. And this market takes people that are hungry. And are you hungry or not?